From royal darlings to diplomatic pariahs, Nigeria just delivered a stinging rebuke to Harry and Meghan, and the fallout is explosive.
Disaster opportunists, which is exactly right. Disaster tourists.
There are government employees that are still waiting for paychecks, back paychecks months ago.
Yeah.
You know, what are the odds that they're going to get paid quickly for this Harry and Meghan visit?
Right, talking about people who are always on their game, especially when it comes to trying to drum up support and get content for their next Netflix project. The Duke and Duchess of Montecito, Harry and Meghan, have gone on a, well, let's say a quasi-royal tour of Nigeria. They certainly haven't been meeting President
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry may no longer be working royals, but their recent trip to Nigeria looked very much like a royal tour of their own.
Meghan really is a great tool for representing a modern royal family, but not long after that tour did Meghan sort of do her doe-eyed crying to the camera and say, nobody knows how hard it is. And then off they went to Canada, then America, and have decided really that they miss it and clearly want to continue doing it. So have flown off.
We're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion. All right. This is a pattern for her. It's not about charity. It's about her image.
You've had the Duke and Duchess of Montecito running around like a rival royal family, trashing their family, trashing the monarchy.
They're not there on the behalf of the British government. They're there at the invitation of the Nigerian government. Some people think that this is a bit risky. You know, when you're not there on behalf of say, the British Home Office, you're kind of at the whims of your host. And there is concerns that maybe Harry and Meghan could be, they like to control.
This is the same woman who said, I never even considered my blackness until the British tabloids started to make a thing out of it. Now she's like, I am Nigeria. Fellow women, hear me roar.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles. Let them go off and be, celebrities, that's fine. But don't do it in the name of our royal family.
To be honest, and very, very entitled.
Harry and Meghan, they have an issue when it comes to their memory and when it comes to the truth. She is relentless, she is shameless, and she is exhausting. You are not a successful female entrepreneur.
Forget the fairy tale. This is a royal reckoning. After a whirlwind visit painted as a homecoming, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are facing a harsh reality. Nigeria doesn't want an encore. Did the Sussexes overstep? Did their unofficial visit ruffle feathers in high places? Whatever the reason, the door has been firmly slammed shut, and the whispers surrounding this rejection are turning into a deafening roar. Prepare for a deep dive into the politics, the protocol, and the potentially irreparable damage this snub could inflict on the Harry and Meghan brand.
She was an actress, she's not anymore. She basically travels around the world smiling and making sort of, happy faces and meeting people.
This wasn't a subtle no thanks, it was a thunderous public rejection. So what exactly went wrong? How did the Sussexes transform from celebrated VIP guests into persona non grata in a heartbeat? It all began with a cold, calculated refusal from Nigeria, one of Africa's most influential nations. There was no dodging, delaying, or polite deferral. This was a direct official shutdown straight from their Ministry of Foreign Affairs. No sugarcoating, no second chances, no wiggle room. Simply put, you're not welcome here. Let's break down the dramatic turn of events that left the royals reeling on the international stage.
So many of the locals are enraged over the fact that their government is going to be paying for the security of Harry and Meghan.
Verified sources confirm Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sought to return to Nigeria after a self-described transformative first trip. They weren't just stopping by, they were hoping for round two of what they painted as a feel-good tour. But this time, Nigeria didn't deliver a warm welcome or a polite maybe later. Instead, the refusal came down hard and fast, straight from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The message is clear: Nigeria isn't interested in another chapter with the Sussexes. Officials suspect that the visit might be more than a simple cultural or charitable endeavor. It hints at a hidden agenda centered around influence and potentially disruption. Let's dive into why this high-profile invitation turned into an official shutdown.
Harry and Meghan, I don't know if this is a royal tour. They're not working royals, are they? But they're not politicians or pop stars. What exactly are they doing touring Nigeria in the first place, Kinsey?
Let's break down the bold move Nigeria made against Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. and uncover what the African powerhouse might truly be fearing. In 2024, the Sussexes enjoyed an open-armed welcome during their first visit. But during their return, Nigeria didn't just hesitate, it slammed the door in their faces. This wasn't mere gossip or a calculated act of diplomatic pushback. Nigerian officials left no room for interpretation, declaring zero national interest in another unofficial Sussex tour. Simply put, in this high-stakes game, Nigeria perceived no political, economic, or cultural benefit in hosting the royals again. The rejection stands as a clear, unambiguous message. The Sussexes' influence isn't welcome on Nigerian soil.
Many Nigerians were thinking, well, this is a bit of a waste of public money. This is not like we're courting a state that can help us with resources. This is kind of like a faux royal couple that are there to kind of boost their image.
When it comes to official welcomes, Nigeria's latest move against Prince Harry and Meghan Markle is a clear, no-nonsense statement. The government wasn't interested in another staged parade of what they saw as fake royalty, no photo ops, no scripted handshakes, and no meticulously planned moments of impact. Nigeria, Africa's powerhouse and a major global player, isn't playing host to what many believe was nothing more than a publicity tour veiled as a cultural exchange. Back in 2024, the Sussexes were initially embraced, but their subsequent visit reeked of ulterior motives. This calculated diplomatic rejection wasn't merely an act of defiance, it was a bold message. The world is growing weary of the Sussex show, and Nigeria is done with the theatrics. Let's dive into why this rejection cuts so deep and what it reveals about Nigeria's unyielding stance.
For one reason, to get their faces back on camera and to improve their image. They want people to think well of them, so they decide, what they really need? Us. What they need is us.
The spark that ignited the controversy came when Meghan Markle boldly declared in front of a cheering crowd that she was 43% Nigerian, a revelation attributed to a mail-order DNA test. What was meant to be a moment of pride quickly felt more like a punchline. For many Nigerians, the announcement wasn't a heartfelt tribute, but rather a shallow performance that trivialized an enduring cultural identity, reducing it to mere genetic percentages. Instead of the anticipated mic drop, Meghan's declaration received mixed reactions, ranging from polite applause to widespread ridicule, side-eye stares, a flood of memes, and even academic criticisms. The stunt not only undermined the depth of Nigeria's cultural heritage, but also set off a storm of debate over authenticity versus performance.
For the basketball court, I just think that all they do is talk, and very little action.
From Lagos to Abuja, cultural leaders and historians didn't mince their words over Meghan Markle's so-called heritage moment. Amidst traditional Nigerian fabrics, ceremonial dances, and staged moments with tribal elders, critics decried the act as nothing more than ancestral cosplay. Rather than a sincere embrace of Nigeria's rich history and culture, many saw it as a superficial performance designed solely to boost personal branding. As one Nigerian historian put it bluntly, you don't get to wrap yourself in African identity just when it suits your brand. The backlash underscores a growing sentiment. Authenticity matters. And reducing deep-rooted cultural heritage to mere percentages isn't just misguided, it's an insult.
Found out that she is almost half Nigerian, and that I think has sort of guided them somewhat in wanting to go there and do their photo calls. I understand as well that Nigeria will be hosting an element of the Invictus Games, set up, of course, by the Duke of Sussex, and he's been over there as well, meeting a young Nigerian.
Right, and Thomas Markle said he was surprised to find out Meghan was 43% Nigerian because he's always felt she was 100% Californian.
Behind the curated smiles and flashbulb moments, there was total chaos during the Sussexes' visit to Nigeria. Insiders from Nigeria's own security services revealed that what was meant to be a high-profile cultural engagement quickly devolved into a logistical nightmare. Although Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are private citizens without any governmental role, sources say they arrived expecting nothing less than a full-blown royal welcome. Talking motorcades, luxury suites, an onslaught of media and ceremonial escorts, all the trappings of royal pomp without the official credentials. As one senior intelligence officer bluntly put it in an interview with the nation Nigeria, they wanted the full royal treatment without the responsibility or the credentials. This episode not only exposed the Sussexes' inflated expectations, but also underscored the dissonance between their self-styled image and Nigeria's practical diplomatic priorities,
just went off on these, what did she call them? Queen's husband was dying, and she went on Oprah and suggested one or both of them are raging racists. She couldn't have cared less. She doesn't care about anyone other than herself, and I include Harry in that. She cares about her image. That's why she's there.
This wasn't a state visit or genuine diplomacy. It was a self-styled celebrity tour meticulously crafted for high visibility and camera-ready moments, yet utterly out of touch. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle didn't just come to Nigeria as humble visitors. They arrived on what many are calling a Netflix cruise, staging a goodwill trip that felt more like a blockbuster production than an authentic cultural exchange. Expecting head of state honors, the Sussexes leaned heavily on an extravagant, media-fueled persona, but Nigeria wasn't playing along. The rejection of their follow-up visit wasn't merely a denial. It was a strategic power move, a decisive act to shield national dignity from being exploited as a backdrop for foreign branding. Here, Nigeria sends a clear message. Cultural integrity and national pride come before celebrity theatrics.
They felt like she dressed inappropriately throughout the tour. She changed clothes multiple times a day. And you're right, the objective was to look like she was the Princess of Wales, having her multiple meetings throughout the day, different looks. And that's not their status anymore. A week ago, Meghan Markle was throwing jam at her neighbors.
While the Sussexes flashed their smiles alongside hand-picked tribal elders and well-lit photo ops, a deeper narrative was unfolding behind the scenes. Many of Nigeria's traditional royal families were completely left out of the loop. No meetings, no invites, and certainly no chance for genuine cultural exchange. Insiders from Europa's royal circles didn't mince their words. One aide accused Harry and Meghan of royal cherry-picking, selectively engaging only with those figures who were easy to work with, while overlooking the authentic custodians of Nigerian culture and heritage. Another high-ranking royal insider went further, decrying the visit as a mockery of what true royal diplomacy should be. This selective engagement not only exposed the superficiality of the Sussexes celebrity tour, but also highlighted a growing disconnect between self-styled international stardom and the deeply rooted traditions of genuine regal exchange.
Forcing young women to marry their creepy neighbors when they're 12 years old. Wouldn't that make more of an impact? I mean, they're just total virtue signals.
According to insider accounts, the Sussexes' visit was less about genuine cultural exchange and more about chasing an illusion of royalty, a pursuit that blatantly disregarded the age-old institutions safeguarding Nigeria's rich regal heritage. Far from engaging with the true custodians of Nigerian tradition, the Sussexes opted for a glossy, self-created narrative that paid no heed to protocol. The backlash was swift and unyielding. Multiple tribal coalitions and confidential appeals to the federal government demanded that any future visits by these self-styled global royals be routed strictly through proper diplomatic channels. Their message was clear. Nigeria isn't interested in celebrity brand ambassadors masquerading as royalty. Only guests who adhere to protocol and honor the nation's time-honored traditions will be welcomed.
If you don't want to be a royal and you don't want the duty and responsibility that goes with it, then please spare us all the performance art.
This wasn't just a rejection, it was an outright repudiation. Nigeria's message was crystal clear. They saw right through the Sussexes' performance and they refused to entertain it any longer. There was no timid no thank you this time. Nigeria declared it loudly, proudly, and with unmistakable diplomatic force. For Harry and Meghan, what might have seemed like a minor hiccup has turned into a monumental miscalculation. Nigeria's stand is a resounding declaration that superficial celebrity theatrics have no place in a genuine cultural exchange, and the nation will protect its revered traditions by demanding only authentic, protocol-respecting engagements.
Like, she gets this platform, she gets on the stage, and instead of saying, what a beautiful country you have, I'm so blessed to be here, I am courageous, I am brave, like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Lady, you sound crazy.
What followed wasn't a quiet dismissal. It was a full-blown thunderstorm of backlash. The Sussexes' latest escapade, far from being a simple goodwill tour, has ignited criticism from every corner. Cultural leaders, global analysts, African royals, and media watchdogs have all added fuel to the growing fire, decrying the visit as nothing more than a global vanity tour gone rogue. Nigeria's unequivocal rejection sent shockwaves that are rippling far beyond Africa, setting off a chain reaction of disapproval and caution. For many, this isn't just a diplomatic snub, it's a bold declaration that superficial celebrity theatrics have no place in genuine cultural exchange, and the consequences of such missteps are only just starting to show.
The mother was born in America, the father was born in America, but Meghan is now telling us that she's 43% Nigerian?
This is the most ridiculous.
Let's rewind to the moment Meghan Markle undoubtedly believed would be her shining breakthrough, a grand display of diasporic connection and cultural reclamation. Standing before an audience of Nigerians, she proudly declared herself 43% Nigerian and proclaimed the trip as deeply personal. Her team, riding high on the promise of this transformative moment, immediately began pitching big ideas: a documentary, a revealing memoir chapter, even ArchaeoWell-branded diaspora empowerment projects. However, the harsh reality set in fast. Despite the fanfare and self-assured proclamations, not one of these initiatives received any form of official endorsement from Nigerian authorities or local community. What was meant to be Meghan's star moment quickly unraveled into a cautionary tale about authenticity, misplaced ambition, and the perils of using heritage as mere branding.
Wealthy, privileged young couple from California come over because Meghan's done a genealogy and they're making a Netflix documentary.
Why did this plan backfire spectacularly? Because, to many, Meghan Markle's first visit smacked of self-serving theatrics. Nigerian columnist Lou Woy captured the sentiment perfectly. The Sussexes arrived with cameras ready, not with commitments to forging genuine cultural ties. They left behind flashy headlines instead of creating meaningful partnerships. What unfolded was less about building bridges and more about manufacturing brand moments. So when the Nigerian government said no, it wasn't a matter of scheduling or logistics, it was a principled stand. This rejection wasn't simply about canceling an invitation. It was a decisive refusal to let a global celebrity commercialize a sacred cultural identity.
Meghan Markle was slammed relentlessly in the media for claiming she undertook a DNA test that proved she was 43% Nigerian, and then referring to it multiple times throughout the trip.
Once the PR smoke cleared, the truth emerged unmistakably. Meghan Markle wasn't seeking a genuine connection with Africa. She was eyeing Nigeria as the next ArchaeoWell asset. For years, insiders have observed the Sussexes chasing what they dub a soft throne, a comforting space where they can indulge in the trappings of royalty without accountability. This revelation cast a stark light on a calculated strategy that prioritized branding over authentic cultural diplomacy, leaving a trail of disillusionment in its wake.
Is she kidding? She's as white as I am. And she's over there like leaning in. Now I'm the face of the black woman. Okay.
After fizzling out at Buckingham Palace, faltering in Hollywood, and losing favor with much of the US public, the Sussexes turned their gaze toward Nigeria, hoping for a fresh start, a blank slate, a new kingdom without the crown. But Nigeria isn't a playground for celebrity theatrics. Sources inside the Nigerian Federal Executive Council reveal that the rejection was far from impulsive. It was deliberate and strategic. Consultations spanned multiple ministries, including foreign affairs and culture, before the final call was made. The message is unequivocal. Nigerian cultural identity is not for sale, and any attempt to commercialize or co-opt it for personal branding will be met with resolute opposition.
But it's wild how much she is so confident in herself. I mean, basically what she just said was, I am courageous, I am brave.
Yeah, it's all about me, 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 me.
The verdict was unanimous. Nigeria has made it crystal clear it will not serve as a stage for the Sussexes' symbolic power plays. This wasn't a subtle, behind-the-scenes rebuke. It was an overt and decisive rejection of an imperial-style entitlement. The notion that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could simply fly into another country, declare ancestral ties, and be met with open arms, adoring camera crews, and unrestrained support has been firmly and publicly shut down. As one senior Nigerian policy analyst put it succinctly, they are not royalty here, just tourists with a PR agenda. In a bold declaration of independence from celebrity theatrics, Nigeria's stance sends a powerful message. Cultural identity and national dignity are never for sale.
Meghan, you have a very privileged life.
Yeah.
We all get it. You're beautiful. You married a prince, but that's literally all you've done when it comes to your accomplishments.
Right.
And if that wasn't embarrassing enough, here's the kicker. The British High Commission, the official diplomatic arm of the UK in Nigeria, had absolutely nothing to do with the Sussexes' first trip. There was no coordination, no endorsement, not even a diplomatic nod in any form. This isn't just awkward, it's a glaring red flag. The visit was completely detached from UK foreign policy, underscoring the fact that Harry and Meghan were operating as rogue actors. By exploiting their ex-royal titles, they attempted to insert themselves into a complex geopolitical arena without any official role, credentials, or backing. This bold move not only highlighted their overreach, but also exposed the stark reality. Celebrity theatrics have no place in the serious business of international diplomacy.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
One former UK diplomat in Abuja summed it up bluntly. The Sussexes acted as if they were on official business, and they weren't. Everyone knew it, especially the Nigerians, who recognized the audacity of the move. Behind closed doors, British officials were quietly relieved when Nigeria decisively blocked a second visit. According to insiders, the UK Foreign Office had already flagged the couple as a potential diplomatic liability, a PR crisis in the making. If any Nigerian group accused them of misrepresentation or overstepping their boundaries, which is exactly what they did. This saga reveals just how out of touch celebrity theatrics can become when they collide with real-world diplomacy.
Right, talking about people who are always on their game, especially when it comes to trying to drum up support and get content for their next Netflix project. The Duke and Duchess of Montecito, Harry and Meghan, have gone on let's say a quasi-royal tour of Nigeria. They certainly haven't been meeting President...
The Sussexes now find themselves in the worst possible position. Exposed, unendorsed, and completely unwanted. Their once glamorous global influence isn't just fading, it's unraveling fast. What began as a high-profile spectacle in Nigeria has ignited a wider backlash. Across the continent, a rising wave of resistance is taking shape against what scholars are calling a classic pattern of celebrity colonialism. Wealthy Western figures parachuting into African nations, delivering emotional speeches, posing for the headlines, and then moving on without leaving behind any real investment or meaningful change. The Sussexes' recent debacle isn't an isolated incident. It's emblematic of a growing sentiment that demands genuine engagement over manufactured celebrity theatrics.
Meghan really is a great tool for representing a modern royal family, but not long after that tour did Meghan sort of do her doe-eyed crying to the camera and say nobody knows how hard it is, and then off they went to Canada, then America, and have decided really that they miss it and clearly want to continue doing it, so have flown.
Nigerian author and sociologist Dr. Femi Dena summed it up perfectly in a recent TV interview. Come with entitlement, with no humility, and expect the world to clap. That era is over. This sentiment echoes throughout the continent, where Pan-African cultural organizations are now rallying for stricter protocols and clear guidelines on the behavior of former royal ties when they step into traditional or diplomatic spaces. The message is unequivocal: respect the culture or stay home. The Sussex debacle has spurred a broader critique against what critics call celebrity colonialism, a pattern of wealthy Western figures parachuting into African nations, delivering grandiose speeches and flashing smiles for the camera, only to leave without any tangible investment or lasting impact. This shifting tide marks a pivotal moment where the days of unearned applause for self-appointed royalty are finally coming to an end. Some critics didn't hold back, labeling Meghan Markle's Nigeria tour as a textbook case of Western opportunism, cleverly dressed up in the language of cultural connection. This marks a significant turning point. Where Harry and Meghan once banked on global goodwill to buoy their ailing brand, they now find themselves barreling headfirst into a wall of skepticism, fatigue, and outright rejection. Nigeria's denial was far from a polite diplomatic rebuff. It was the first domino in a cascade of consequences. What began as a glossy PR photo op has since spiraled into a cautionary tale of overreach, tone deafness, and public humiliation, exposing the dangerous pitfalls of self-styled celebrity diplomacy. This rejection isn't just another headline, it's a seismic turning point. What started as a well-publicized debacle has evolved into a multifaceted fallout that could redefine the Sussex narrative on the global stage. In our next segment, we're diving deep into the ripple effects. How this stinging international backlash is shaking up Harry and Meghan's standing in Hollywood, and why even some of their most ardent backers might be reconsidering their support. Brace yourselves, because the royal unraveling is just getting started, and the coming chapters promise nothing less than a dramatic, world-altering shift in the way we perceive celebrity diplomacy. While Meghan and Harry scrambled to spin their Nigeria visit into PR gold, pitching Argerwell documentaries, memoir chapters, and branded empowerment specials, one of the biggest players in their media empire was already backing away: Netflix. Despite the Sussexes' push to transform the trip into a glossy, inspirational Africa-themed feature, Netflix never warmed up to the idea. No trailer, no teaser, no green light. And now we know why. According to sources inside Netflix's original content division, the truth behind the decision is eye-popping, revealing that the plan didn't fit with the streaming giant's vision or the current appetite for genuine cultural storytelling. This development marks another twist in the unfolding saga of the Sussexes' overreaching PR machine. The backlash was too massive to ignore, with red flags popping up at every turn. Legal concerns over diplomatic misrepresentation, questions about consent from Nigerian authorities, and most troubling of all, allegations that Harry and Meghan falsely presented themselves as working royals or cultural ambassadors. All converged into a perfect storm. One insider confided anonymously to Deadline that the risk was simply not worth it. The potential brand hit was far too significant. Overnight, what was once pitched as content gold transformed into a corporate liability, derailing the Sussexes' ambitious African narrative and leaving their media empire scrambling to reassess its strategy. Even more revealing, Netflix didn't just kill the documentary, it scrapped all internal plans for a diaspora dream pitch that centered on Meghan Markle's 43% Nigerian claim. The message is as clear as it gets. Netflix wants no part of another Markle controversy, especially one mired in geopolitical backlash. When arguably their biggest supporter pulls the plug, it's not just a red flag, it's a flashing warning light. This decision underscores a critical pivot in the Sussexes' narrative, highlighting that the risks of mixing celebrity theatrics with real-world cultural dynamics have finally caught up with their brand. The foundation of the Sussex media empire is cracking fast, and it's not just confined to diplomatic blunders. Industry insiders are spotting a chilling trend in Hollywood. Elites are quietly and deliberately distancing themselves from the drama. One Los Angeles-based talent agent put it plainly, people are tired of the spectacle. They bring heat, but it's toxic heat. In an industry built on image and credibility, no one wants to be associated with the brand more entangled in controversy than in creativity. This shift in sentiment marks a critical turning point. The new reality is clear. It's time to prove you can build something lasting instead of just breaking things for the sake of headlines. The fallout is spreading fast. Even Beyoncé's inner circle, which once embraced Meghan Markle, inviting her to events like the Cowboy Carter concert, has reportedly gone silent on any future appearances or collaborations. And it's not just the A-list that's pulling back. A prominent publicist, once a vocal champion of the Sussexes, has quietly pivoted to less volatile clients, distancing themselves from a brand now seen as weighed down by controversy. In an industry where image is everything, this retreat signals a broader shift. When controversy overshadows creativity, even the most influential allies aren't willing to take the risk. And now the final blow is coming straight from the boardrooms of Beverly Hills. Multiple brand executives have labeled Harry and Meghan as uninsurable, too risky to pitch, too unpredictable to sponsor, and simply not worth the gamble. Once hailed as a global power couple with limitless potential, they are rapidly becoming a cautionary tale in overexposure and underdelivery. In an industry where reputation and reliability are everything, the Sussexes' firestorm of controversy has transformed them from beloved celebrities into liabilities, a stark reminder that fame without substance carries a hefty price tag. The fallout from the Sussexes' Nigeria rejection is reverberating on a global scale, from cultural missteps and diplomatic drama to a media empire that shows every crack. Once admired as a captivating power couple, they now face a relentless storm of criticism and caution in Hollywood and beyond. So what's your take on this royal unraveling? Is it a necessary reality check on celebrity culture or just an unfortunate moment in a long saga? Share your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe for the latest updates, and join us as we peel back the layers of a scandal that's reshaping perceptions around the globe. Don't miss out. Stay in the know with every twist and turn of this high-stakes story.